Hello, welcome back to another Sim Night Racing track guide. My name is Harry and today we're looking at the Circuit de Catalunya, or Barcelona as it's better known. Now, as this track's hosted F1 testing for what seems like forever, it's probably one of the best known track layouts in the world, so it doesn't need too much of an introduction. It's fast and flowing, maximising minimum speed around corners and good application of trail braking are two essential keys for getting a good lap time around this track. The goal of our track guides is just to help the average racer learn a track quickly so they can jump straight into some racing. So with that in mind, let's jump on board and have a look at the lap. So here we are at Barcelona on the long start-finish straight. Keep the car over to the left-hand side, preparing for turn 1. Coming down the start-finish straight, you want to be looking for the AstroTurf on the left. Position the car on that, it's not a track limit and you can maximise the entry. Look for your braking point just before the 100 metre board. Get the car slowed to second gear and just clip the first apex using a little bit of the curb. The same for turn 2, clip the apex, use the exit and then move the car into the centre of the road for this long sweeping right-hander. Hug the curb until about halfway round the corner where you can get back on full throttle and move the car over to the left-hand side for best exit. Coming into the next turn, again use all of the road and you want to spot the third white painted line on the floor. That's going to be your braking point. Slow the car and trail brake into the apex down to second gear, hug the curb and then about halfway round, get back on full throttle and move the car over to the left for the best exit. Position the car on the right hand side and you want to be looking for this tower on the left. That's going to be the best indicator of braking point as there's not really anything better. Trail brake the car down into second or first gear depending on car and get on the throttle as early as you can using all of the exit curb. Coming down the hill, you want to position the car on the right hand side and look out for the red and white curb. This is going to be the start of your braking point. Brake hard and heavy and make sure to release the brakes before the apex as the camber of the turn can unsettle the rear of the car. Use a little bit of the curb and again a little bit of the curb going up the hill and then position your car on the left hand side. A brush of the brakes and one gear down, hug the curb and halfway round get back on full throttle and use all of the exit. Move the car slowly over to the right hand side and spot your braking point. This is going to be just before the 100 metre board, again depending on what car you're driving. Get the car completely slowed to first gear, kiss the apex and then get on the throttle as early as possible using all of the exit. This next left-hander is flat out and then you want to brush brakes, one gear down and hug the curb, looking out for this curb on top of the curb as a really good indicator of when you should be getting back on full throttle. Use all of the exit out of this turn and look out for the orange paint on the wall on the left-hand side. Just after this is going to be your braking point for the next complex. This complex is really tricky. The best advice is to make sure the car is slowed enough and just hug the curbs, being careful not to hit the sausage curbs. And after this last apex, you should be on full throttle for the rest of the lap. Hug the curb on this last turn and then run the car out to the left-hand side for best exit. And there is a full lap of Barcelona. So my top tips for fast lap time around Barcelona. The first one, like any track, is track limits. Play around with the track limits in practice and find out where the edge is and how far you can push them. You can definitely get away with a lot more than you think at Barcelona, but there is a couple of corners where it will really bite you, especially in a long race. You don't want to be getting drive-throughs, so just have a good explore of those so you completely understand where the limits are. The second one is curb usage. I drive the BMW and you can use a lot of curb in the BM, but there is an awful lot of cars that will not react as well. So again, take what I've said with a bit of a pinch of salt and explore for yourself and just find out how much you can get away with. You can gain a lot of time on a lap using the curbs, but you can also lose a lot of time in a race if you have an incident because of hitting a curb too hard. Trail braking is really important around this track. Have a brush up on that technique if you're struggling a little bit because there is a lot of time to be gained, especially in the medium speed corners that require you to brake deep into the apex. Maximising your minimum speeds are going to be really important. Have a bit of a play around with this in practice. You want to be entering the corner as fast as possible with a gentle steering input without inducing any understeer or oversteer. That's going to be the sweet spot. So that's about it from me. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much from everybody at Sim Night Racing for joining us for another track guide. I'll play the lap now without commentary so you can pause it and have a little bit of a look. Have fun, go practice, and we'll see you on the track.